of funny that the motorcycle wave, it's kind of like this weird little unwritten rule. I mean, it's not like when you buy a bike, the guy at the dealership's like, hey, you gotta do this. Nobody ever tells you necessarily that you got to. It's just something people start doing to you and you start doing it back. It's like this weird little secret acknowledgement that we're both doing something that the other person enjoys doing. You know, I'll never see that guy again, but we both had that little moment where we got to acknowledge that we got something in common, I guess. Yeah, something else I like, another kind of unwritten rule about riding a bike is if you see a bike, if you're on your bike especially, but if you see a bike pulled over, I feel like you're a lot more likely to stop and, you know, just check on the person, make sure, you know, the bike's all right, they're getting all right, they got cell phone signal, they got, you know, whatever they need. Sometimes, you know, most times, just somebody pulled over the side of the road, just taking a break. Oh, that's a cop. Nope, that's not a cop. That's a guy who's also in high vis like me. I was wrong. But, yeah, if you see somebody on the road, side of the road, on a bike, yeah, I feel like you're more likely to pull over, and I feel like they're more likely to pull over and just make sure you're alright. Which is the way things ought to be. I hate that crosswalk. I get it. Yeah, I'm on a bike too, man. Like, me stopping in the middle of the road to let you pass is it's kind of like you stopping in the middle of the road to let me pass. We're both on bikes. This is not much bigger than a mountain bike. I am no more visible than you are. But the law is the law. So you may have noticed I alternate between calling this a bike or a scooter, motorcycle. Yeah, legally, yes, it is a motorcycle. I think Honda prefers the term motorbike for this. I think that's what I've seen in their advertisements. Because it's not, you know, you think of a motorcycle, you think of, at least here in the States, the first thing you think of is a Harley. Like a classic American Harley. But this is technically what's called an underbone motorcycle, but here in the States, it was always kind of marketed as a, you know, to keep it non-threatening, it was always kind of marketed as a scooter. I don't think Honda ever said scooter, specifically, but when you go to the scooter rental store and you rent a Honda C50 or C70, you kind of know what's up. This was a little bit, I think these would be a lot more popular if, I think these would be a lot more popular if the motorcycle license scheme hadn't changed. I believe it changed in the 60s, so it was like, you know, you hear scooter and the first thing you think is, oh, I don't need a license to ride it. But then you look at the Super Cub and it's not legally a scooter, so you technically need a motorcycle license to ride this thing, which is fine for me. You know, I got mine and never did anything with it. But for a lot of people, they say, oh, hey, little, you know, cute little retro scooter, I could zip around town on that. And then somebody goes, oh, by the way, you should really take a motorcycle driver's course, get that endorsement on your license. They go, nah, because now it's a commitment. You know, now it's this fun little thing that I was going to zip around town on. I thought I could just pick it up and ride home, but nope, I have to go someplace, take a weekend out of my life. Which I think for me it was one Friday where we had to go down and do just a little bit of classroom stuff. The Saturday was, I believe, day at the range, and then the Sunday, I believe, was most of the day at the range, and then come back to the class. So people get that, and they're like, ah, shit. And then the class is, like, I think I paid $350 12 years ago. But something that occurred to me is, I didn't want a Harley. I went to the Harley Riders class because my dad was interested in riding, and he's like, hey, come along. I was like, all right. So I joined. Sounded like, fun way to waste a weekend. He wanted to get a Harley, so the dealers there, they talked him into taking their class, which he would have done anyway. Dad wants to make sure everything's nice and safe, and I totally respect that. But the class was $350, but they would give you that $350 back when you bought a bike from them. So the class was there really to get you licensed and remove that barrier. To purchasing a bike, and then sell you a Harley. So when you're buying a $20,000 bike, $350 off, it's not the discount you might have been hoping for, but it's something. It basically makes the class free. And then in addition to the class, you have to get yourself your own helmet. I've never seen any courses that provide a helmet because that's just, there's too many variations. And honestly, with COVID and all that now, who the hell wants to wear somebody else's helmet? I don't know. So, had to get helmet and gloves for sure, and then they recommended at least a work type boot with a defined heel on it, so you could rest your heels on the pegs, nice and tight. Which way do I go here, ladies? Oh, she's silent. We'll just say left. East. I do want to go east, so let's go east. Oh, I'm in third gear, see? Gear selection. Good to go. It's possible I'm not even in cell service right now, so that might not be east. So anyway, back to my original rant. If you're considering getting a motorcycle license, and I encourage it, and you're considering getting a Super Cub or Rebel or whatever, see if they don't do the same thing. Go to your Honda dealership and say, hey, you guys do classes, and they probably will, or they'll have somebody who, they hire to do classes or whatever. And then go, hey, is that a credit on the bike? And if that's the case, hey, all you're getting up is a weekend. You're gonna have fun on a probably a Honda Rebel. That's usually 300cc Honda Rebel. That's what they supply. Get a little experience. Let me tell you, turning this thing in a parking lot, and it's mostly a parking lot. It's all parking lot stuff. It's not as straightforward as you might think. You have to think about applying throttle through the whole turn. You have to think about going nowhere near your brakes. You tap your brakes while you're making a turn in a parking lot, and you're going to ditch your bike. It's going to wind up on the ground. And getting over a little bit of, get yourself over a little bit of fear. Everybody's a little scared when you first start riding. So, strongly encourage, take the class, get some skills under your belt. See if they'll apply that to a bike. And even if they don't, you might even be able to work it out with them. I mean, there's always, dealers always willing to make a deal. They're not going to be particularly bummed if they have to write off $200, $300 off the bike. So yeah, give it a shot, man. I've read stuff that implies that something like less than 50% of all riders are actually licensed, which just blows my mind. I mean, there's loads of people who, since they were kids, their families had them on bikes, or bikes coming around the backyard and stuff like that. So there's loads of people who have the experience and feel they don't need the license, but man, if I get pulled over, I want to make sure I got a license, right? Everybody's got this like, oh yeah, I'm just going to drop a gear and disappear from the cops. Dude, they've already recorded your license plate number. They know where you live. You're just gonna get charged with running from them on top of not having a license. It's dumb. Don't do that. That's dumb. Besides, if you're riding in a place like this, where the hell are you gonna go? You're gonna blast through a cornfield on a Super Cub? That's not happening. That is not happening. You're gonna dip this thing the second you hit the dirt. One road to run from the cops on, and I'm on it. And I can only do 60 miles an hour. That's it. The car is going to catch me. My only hope is they run out of gas before I do, since I could do like 100 and something miles a gallon. Hopefully they're riding on E when they try to pull me over. I'm loving it out there.